People say I ain't no good, and I'm crazy as a loon. Cause I shave my head in the morning, pick guitar in the afternoon. Just like old Chief and Charlie, I like to lay around in the shade. Well, I ain't got no money, but you better believe I got it made. Cause I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, just leave this bald-headed country boy alone.
What's up, folks? Thank y'all for tuning into the Josh Terry podcast. We're here in Nashville recording all week. We're going to do our best to have a good time. Remember, we're Raising Grace Rounds at Live Oak, May the 8th, 5 to 11. We got some special guests coming. It's going to be a good fucking time. Thank you to all the sponsors. If your ads aren't running because my lazy ass hasn't done it yet, I'm sorry, but it has been a hell of a fucking week. I'm very excited about this show today. This dude I have been a fan of for a while. He's got a couple songs I really dig, but he's got one that's really special to me now. And goddamn, I'm just gonna shut up. Josh Phillips.
What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Thank you for having me, dude.
Anytime. I cannot tell you how thrilled I am about this. I was gonna wait and like kiss your ass like now instead of before. I have like this rule when it comes to country songs.
Yeah.
If it makes me cry the first time I hear it, I know it's a great song.
Okay.
If it makes me want to drink the first time I hear it, I know it's a great song. But if it makes me want to cry and drink, it's an all-time great song.
Okay.
Dirt Cheap is the best song that I have heard.
Oh, shoot, man.
Fucking probably since In Color.
Thank you. Thank you, dude.
As a dad, a girl dad, oh my God, dude. When I heard it the first time, I remember just being like, everybody needs to quit. Everybody needs to fucking quit. Dude, I have a playlist on my phone, and everybody gets tired of hearing it, but it's my all-time favorite country songs. That one and Riley Green's new one, Jesus Saves,
Yeah.
are the only two new ones that I've put in that thing in the past 6 months.
Man, that means a ton. That's awesome.
Well, dude, aren't you from Georgia?
No, I'm from North Carolina.
North Carolina?
Yep.
You might as well be.
Might as well. My wife's from Georgia, so.
Yeah. I always love when somebody can tell a story that's been told before, but a completely different way.
Yeah.
And there's something about that song, dude. That cuts so fucking deep.
Thank you.
But it's like the best cut. I love that. I love sad country. I love sad music,
same.
period. I will not. Everybody gets around me like, you're the most depressed person of all time. Well, no, I like a good fucking song. Like,
Yeah,
I love a
dude.
good story.
Absolutely.
You wrote that one by yourself anyway, right?
I did.
That had to be like a game changer for your career, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you've got some other songs that are just fucking amazing. Don't get me wrong, but
Well, thank you.
That's an all-time song, dude.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate that. It has been a game changer, an unexpected game changer, if that makes sense.
No way you didn't think that was just the
Man,
shit
I really
when you wrote it.
For me, yeah, I was
Yeah.
because I went through. It's probably about a year ago. Well, 2 years ago. Like Nashville, we constantly write with our buddies and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a scheduled thing at 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. or 3 p.m. whatever. You and two of your buddies or three of your buddies get together and you write songs. And the way that I started was on my parents' back porch when I lived in Sanford, North Carolina with them, and it was just writing by myself, just trying to figure it out. And so like 2 years ago, I was like, man, I've kind of lost an element of writing by myself because I haven't done it in so long. I was like, I'm going to start doing that. I don't care if anybody cuts these songs or not. Basically, they're just for me. And so we bought a house that was built in 1904. It was an old farmhouse. My wife, she had this dream house picked out that was like, they're all over Pinterest. They're new houses, but they look old, but we couldn't afford that. So she got an actual old house. Yeah. And so that song is about that. I didn't care if it got cut or anything. It was just what we were going through and all the memories that we had built there. And so, then Cody cuts it, and then it's just it's been a whirlwind.
I imagine
It's been nuts.
I wish I like. There's certain songs that have been played to me that the first time you hear it, it's just like I don't know who's gonna cut it, if they're gonna cut it, but this one's gonna be one like dude. I'm telling you, and what was crazy before I ever even knew that you wrote it because I did not know till like the past, and I guess when Kojo was here in Nashville and everybody posted. Tagged you when he sung it on stage or whatever. I put 2 and 2 together. But like when that song came out, everybody that I know, every fucking body that I know was posting it all over social media. Yeah. Like I wish I could have been in the room the first time you played it for somebody.
The first time I played it, I played it for Jordan, my wife, first, and she cried. And then the first time I played it live, I think was at Listening Room.
Yeah.
And so I played it live there, and I literally hit the end of the first chorus, and everybody stood up. And at that moment, I'm like, okay, maybe this song is good, you know?
That fucking stray line. Holy shit.
Oh, shit.
I know my old lady's tired of fucking hearing it. She's not like, of course, I end up falling for somebody who's not like a traditional country fan.
Yeah.
And I make her listen to fucking everything she doesn't want to listen to. And she's a good sport about it most of the time. But like every time I catch a good buzz and we're riding dirt roads or something and that stray line comes on, I nudge her a little bit. And I'm like, bitch, you brought me home from the pound. Now you got to keep me. Right. There ain't no give me back. Yeah. It just, there's just sometimes you hear something that you know that it's real life. Yeah. Like that dude or that woman isn't faking it. Yeah. Like I catch a lot of shit from a lot of people in town because I won't live here. It's nothing against people that do. Yeah. I love being in the country. Like I love being around my daughter. She'll be 13 this year. And for me, I think I lose the best part of me moving to Nashville. Like it would help my career. I could do shit like this every day with somebody that's a big time songwriter or artist or whatever, but being around her means more. Yeah. And being from the country to me means more. Mm-hmm. And I get shit from people because, like, if I think you're fake or I think you just put the glittery hat on and the boots and all this shit and you thought country was cool so you were going to take your whack at it, I'll give you shit about it. Oh, yeah. Like, but then you hear stuff like that and you hear your other stuff. And it's just like, this dude's singing about his life. Mm-hmm. And I got like this little thing that I tell a bunch of the younger artists that we bring up from Georgia. That's one thing I try to do is if you are a talented younger artist and you don't have anybody to bring you into Nashville, if you're singing songs about you, I like bringing you up here to put you on like our writers rounds, a part of some of our shows and everything. And I tell them I think everybody has the potential to write a great song. Every single person, if you write the song about the life you live. Because nobody else can ever tell that story but you. Exactly. Yep. And when you find somebody that does like dirt cheap and some of your other shit, dude, it's just like, I know that I'd like you if I'd never met you before. Same. Because you're you. Yeah. You got a lot of folks up here, dude. They just, I don't mind people faking it till you make it because everybody's got to play the game. Yeah. I got to do it. I mean, everybody's got to do it. But there comes a time like I want to see you. Yeah. And that's when I think like people identify with you, people love you, people want to, they're waiting for the next thing when they find out who you are.
Yeah, dude. And I think there's an element of playing the game that you can still do while staying true to you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I think a big part of playing the game in Nashville is like people are craving to know the real person. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it's Nashville, but for whatever reason, people think they need to put on this facade, in order to fit a mold or whatever that is.
I think they're scared. There's so many people scared that people aren't going to like them. And see, I embrace it. Yeah. I got told a long time ago, I have not had what I would call a real job in almost 10 years now between working in radio and social media, podcasts, all this stuff. And I got told a long time ago, the people that don't like you are never going to like you. No. Why try to make them like you? They ain't never going to buy a ticket. They ain't never going to buy merch. They're never going to support you. Yeah. But if you keep being you, the people that already identify with you, they're going to spread the message for you. Yeah. And so why not be the authentic version of yourself? And there's so many people up here that, they're scared to death to talk about growing up on a farm or whatever because it's taboo or something these days. I don't fucking know what it is. Like I really am still trying to figure out this whole thing to where. How old are you?
32.
Okay. Me and you have thought country was cool our whole lives.
Huh?
Like, because we're fucking from the country. Like, I don't know why people are just now thinking, oh, it's cool to be country. And it's like, no, it's cool if you're country.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate everybody wearing Western wear and all that kind of shit now,
sure.
but that's not you.
Dude, they would always ask me when I had a record deal, they would always be like, man, you need to wear cowboy boots. And I'm like, I did not grow up wearing cowboy boots at all. I grew up wearing steel toes and working with my dad, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it was always a thing of like, you need to wear cowboy boots. And you know, now it's always the fit in the mold thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting how many people move to Nashville and, you know, I call them cul-de-sac cowboys. They grew up at the end of a cul-de-sac and then now they're wearing cowboy boots and tucking the shirts in.
There's this poor boy. God, I know he hates me, and I ain't going to say his name on here. He did one of my rounds one time. This is probably last summer or something. And this old boy comes in there, and I swear to God, if you would have picked out of like a GQ magazine what they thought a country boy looked like, what he actually wore on a Wednesday night at Live Oak, that's what this dude comes in there to like look at. And everybody else is like, you know, it's what we normally wear. It's like what's comfortable to you.
Yeah.
This motherfucker must have thought he was playing the Opry 30 years ago. And he was not bad. He wasn't a bad kid or whatever, but like I'm real picky about who I let do my show at Live Oak because it's my way of endorsing artists that I actually believe and like.
Yeah.
And I'm just real picky. And I told this kid, I was like, look, dude, I appreciate you coming to the show. You're nice. If we get an opening back anytime, you know, I'll let you know. He's messaged me 100 times. I figured he'd get it by now. But like, I like those people that are them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that'll get up on stage around us, and they're nothing like me and you, but you can respect the fact that they're them.
Yeah.
And they're cool as fuck to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why everybody wants to fit a mold.
I don't either, man.
I just feel like you got to stand out. Like,
Yeah, I mean, look at how massive Sam Hunt got and how massive FGL got. It was because they weren't really fitting the mold. They were doing their own thing. And then for whatever reason, everybody was like, oh, we got to sound like FGL or we got to sound like Sam Hunt.
Now everybody thinks they got to be Morgan Wallen.
I know.
Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
Morgan's huge because he is Morgan.
Yeah.
You know, there's no two ways around it. He can't be anybody other than that.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so cool.
Yeah, that's what I try to tell to people all the time. You're the only person that can do you. Why wouldn't you do the best version of you?
I know.
Regardless of what the fuck it is, I'm trash. I am stone cold white fucking trash from South Georgia.
Yeah.
I want to be somewhere in between Howard Stern, Joe Rogan, but in country music.
Yeah.
And that's what I've always been, though. It's not like I'm putting on something. And that's why people, I think, like me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but it's got to be the same for an artist. Why wouldn't you want to be you and make people love you for you?
Well, I don't think it's just the artist's fault. I think a lot of it is the labels going, okay, well, this worked, and we put money behind this, and we made it work, and it made us money. This guy could fit that mold too, so let's put money behind him to do exactly what we did, you know, previously.
Yeah, and I hate that whole part of the side of the business. I do. I hate it. I wish the talent could speak for itself. I wish the best songs were getting played.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just some generic money making thing now. Yeah. I was not made for this generation.
Yeah.
I needed to be here 50 fucking years ago. Like, I still to this day, I catch shit from my friends all the time for this. I will listen to David Allan Coe wherever the fuck I go, and not just some of them ugly songs he's got.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite songwriters.
Great songwriter.
And singers of all times.
Yep.
And if you mention that in certain circles in this town, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, he likes David Allan Coe?
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck you. Of course I like David Allan Coe.
Yeah.
Like, but there's only one David Allan Coe. There's only one Waylon. There's only one Willie. Like, there's only one Josh Phillips. Like, dude, like the reason I think I admire you a lot, dude, is with that song and other stuff that you have, I like the fact that when I hear your stuff, I know it's yours.
Well, thanks, man.
And there's just so many people that I don't know who this song was for. Yeah. I don't know why you're singing it. Yeah. Like I can, when you do it, it fucking hits. Like it's not a miss.
Thank you, man.
And there's people that Jason Aldean catches shit, but I'm a Georgia boy. I like Jason Aldean.
Heck yeah.
You know it's Jason fucking Aldean.
Yeah.
Like he don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I just wish more people didn't give a fuck. I really do. I wish they could just let their talent speak for themselves, and all these other assholes, these woke people, or whatever the fuck it's called, would go back to sleep pretty much.
You and me both. No, you're right, man.
What, dude, I don't know. There's just, I don't want to keep going back to Dirt Cheap. I want to fucking talk about other shit. Well, but I got to ask you, what was the moment like when you found out that, like, Cody was cutting it? Or the first time you even heard it, Cody's version of it?
Dude, so I'm trying to think. The first time I heard Cody's version, Trent Willman is Cody's producer.
Yeah.
Trent's actually who I sent the song to. Weird chain of events. Back when I was doing the artist thing, me and Trent wrote for, dude, it's probably been 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I had pitched the song to another one of my buddies who never responded to it. We won't say his name.
But he's kicking himself in the dick right now.
He's doing fine. Luke, we love you, buddy. But no, I pitched it to him. He didn't respond. And then it just kind of was like I was in limbo, man. I didn't know what to do. It was like I didn't know who to pitch it to.
Yeah.
I love the song. And so my wife, she said, why don't you pitch it to Cody Johnson? And I was like, well, ironically, I remember Trent. I still have his number, so I sent it to Trent, and he texted me back like 5 minutes later. And he goes, thanks for making a grown man cry. I'm sending it to Cody right now. And so about 15 minutes later after that, he goes, we're cutting it next round.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was that fast, dude. It was nuts. And so probably about 2 months later, he calls me, and he said, hey, man, come out of the house in, like, Dixon area. Come out of the house, and you can hear the first cut of it. Didn't have harmonies or anything. And it was basically just music and Cody's vocal. It wasn't tuned. It was just raw, and it was awesome.
That's my favorite. I'd rather listen to every song just like that.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome. So it was me, him, and my wife, Jordan, rode out there. And she's bawling. I'm like kind of trying to be macho man, not crying.
My fat ass would have been bawling, bro.
And dude, it just kind of like, because I think as a songwriter, we get cuts and we go, oh, that's cool. We try not to get our hopes up that it's going to be a single.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying my best not to get my hopes up. And then it came out November 3rd. Thankfully, everybody in town was talking about it, and it just kind of did its thing and organically became a single. And that was when it hit me like a ton of bricks. Just for the fact that A, it's 100%, or B, it's a true story.
Yeah.
It's so our lives packed in a 4-minute song. And it was going to be a single, or it is the single now. And it was
Is it number one yet? Isn't it number one?
No, it's 18 right now.
Bullshit. So, I don't know.
It's at 18 right now.
Oh, damn. there's no way that should be anything less than one.
I hope it goes. We'll see.
It's good. How long has it been? It hasn't been that long came out.
Man, it's flying right now. I really want it to slow down. It impacted March 11th at like 56, and then today it's at 18. So what? 2 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way it doesn't. And also too, like from me working in radio back in the day, you realize that like the best songs aren't always at the top 10.
Yeah.
It's who the music consultants and everybody's pushing and all that type of bullshit and everything. But every once in a while you get one that just sneaks through because it's supposed to. If that song doesn't become a number one, I fucking don't want to do this no more. I don't. My buddy, he's on American Idol right now. Will Mosley.
Okay.
Big fucker from Georgia.
Yeah.
I was the first person he came and played around with. He travels everywhere with us. We're going out to see him in the final 3 or 5, whatever, this weekend out in L.A. And he had a song twice this year. He came out with a song. It's called Gone for Good. Are you gone for bad or are you gone for good?
That's really cool.
And he put it out over the summer before we went to do some Floribama stuff. And the first day he auditioned on American Idol, instead of him doing a cover, he played that song.
Yeah.
It jumped to number 2 overnight.
Holy crap.
Then it just fell right the fuck off. It went back. And then he played it again like 2 weeks ago on Idol, and it went up to number 2 again. First time Beyonce blocked him from getting a fucking number 1 with that stupid Texas song.
Yeah.
And then that whatever that shiesty bar song or whatever it's all big on.
Shabuzi or whatever.
Whatever the fuck that garbage is.
I ain't heard it yet.
No,
But,
it is fucking trash.
I heard it was pretty bad.
Yeah. But my thing is, like I was telling somebody the other day, it's like, what people don't realize, and I'm not one of these people, I sound like the old bitter man.
Yeah.
But it's like, I want there to be not necessarily a category for everything, but there ought to be something to where you got an actual country song right here compared to this somebody telling us this is a country song right here. Like, don't fucking piss on my boot and tell me it's rain, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you made this young man who had an opportunity to do something that nobody else has ever done on Idol or whatever, overnight have a number 1 twice and 2 songs that aren't country jump in there. Yeah. And I think that's with like stuff like Dirt Cheap and some other great songs that are out right now. They don't get a chance to do what they're supposed to because you got so many fucking people pushing this alternative country. And by the way, for any of y'all come at my ass about this, I love when they did the Southern rock stuff with Travis Tritt and everything in the 90s, all the blues infusion, everything. Like, I like Morgan Wallen stuff.
Same.
I really do. And some of that shit is not traditional country.
Yeah.
But, like, there's some stuff that needs to stay the fuck out of it. And I don't want to sound like the mean guy or whatever.
Yeah. I'm with you. It's the Wallen stuff is interesting because it teeters on the line of, I guess hip hop, country, pop, whatever. But it's super lyrical. Yeah. Like it's genius lyric. Yeah. It's great. And that's a tribute to, the writers and Hardy and Ernest and John Byron and, Brett Tyler and Dozzy, all those guys. And Wallen. But yeah, that's just, as long as lyrically it's great, I don't really care what it sounds like.
That's exactly how I am.
That's my thing.
That's exactly how I am. I think that it doesn't matter what you're putting out. I'd even consider, and I do not like country rap whatsoever. Yeah. It is not for me. But I like Colt Ford. Yeah. Because Colt's believable. It's country. It's him or whatever. Like, it's country music to me. Yeah. The stuff with Wallen and all the rest of them guys, that they're country. I don't know how, so whatever they put out, it's like, oh, they're just having fun with this. Mm-hmm. But you sit Wallen down at a piano to do Sand in My Boots or whatever, and you're like, it's great. Let's, dude. I tell you, and he just keeps growing on me, and I wish I fucking knew the dude. Ernest is so fucking good to me. So fucking, and I know it's not sneaky good anymore, but I'm glad that somebody like him is getting the recognition he deserves. Yeah. Because he's just such a fucking beast. But to where they do stuff that's different, Hardy doing the fucking metal infusion with it or whatever, it's cool as fuck to me because that's them. They're not portraying anything else but them. Yep. And then you get this other bullshit that comes out of nowhere and TikTok tells you it's a goddamn number 1. And they're like, oh, we're going to sign this person who can't fucking sing, can't do nothing, but, he can get views. Yep. You know how much shit I've got from people? Like, I'll be out, and there's especially one guy. We saw him at that Creative Vets golf tournament on Monday. Mm-hmm. Will not speak to me. I have been very vocal about how I don't feel like somebody ought to get a following on social media and decide to do music because you have a following. Yeah. Like if you built your following because of music, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah. But don't get to a couple million people and be like, oh, you know what we're gonna do now? We're gonna put out a country album. Yeah. And then everybody's going to go crazy on social media. And it's like, you know how fucking shitty this is? Yeah. I'd rather listen to authentic country like you and fellas we just mentioned or whatever instead of being force-fed that bullshit. Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I think there's and I could be dead wrong, but I think with the TikTok era, there are a lot of great artists coming out of that, though, by the way. There's some just unreal artists that are coming out of that are great. But I think a lot of those, or some of those, are short-lived. Oh, where because it's solely built on TikTok, that it's going to be very short-lived.
Yeah. I think it is the worst thing that could happen to most of them. I think that especially in country music, you have to be able to take the peaks and the valleys the same way.
100%.
You have to be able to. If you don't, you're fucked. And I feel like these kids that are just exploding and their first song is just spiking or whatever because of social media, and then they have to follow up and they don't have nothing to follow up with, that's got to be a low that ain't that you can't deal with unless you played smoky shitty bars for $100 in front of 3 goddamn people.
Yep.
Like you can't have that thick of skin if you haven't been through it. All right, that's where I admire the journeyman. I admire the people that have just grinded it out, that didn't quit, that just was like, no, I'm good at this. I don't give a fuck what anybody else says. I know I've got something in me.
Yeah. But
people like that had to build it up.
Oh,
They had to earn them calluses.
Yeah. And it takes a long time, man. I mean, it is the 10-year town thing that they say about Nashville is so true.
Yeah.
So true. And there's guys that have been fortunate to, get cuts and get hits before 10 years. But most of the time, it's 10 years before you really see a change.
I could definitely see that. I used to, this is so fucked up. I used to think people that said that was just looking for an excuse to stay here a couple years more. There's a girl, God bless her soul. I won't even say if she was on the show or not, but she told me, she's like, yeah, it's a 10-year town. I'm coming up on it. Next year's my year. And I'm like, bitch, it could be a 30-year town. You're in trouble. Go do something else. And I hate to be that guy to some folks, but I'm all about staying in your lane and being happy with your lane and knowing your lane is good enough.
Yeah.
I know with me, if somebody was sat here and say, hey, Josh, we want you to do reality TV, I would say, no.
Yeah.
I'm getting kicked off in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not worth my time. I know it's not for me, but everybody that does great at it, by all means, go right ahead. Like, I'm rooting for you.
Yeah.
But this right here, this is my comfort zone. I'm good with doing this.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they need somebody to, in a nice way, tell them, hey, you gave it your best shot.
Yeah.
Let's find out what you're good at. There's a teacher where I'm from, and I'm trying to push this thing with like our school system. Growing up, you obviously was athletic. I was too. I don't look like it fucking now. This was about 60 pounds ago, and I was in really good shape many years, 16, 17 years ago. But like, I never knew there was a life outside of sports.
Yeah,
I never knew there was stuff that I could be just as passionate about as sports. And I got a bad knee, a bad shoulder. I got a fucking all kind of messed up calf and other stuff. Somebody, if they'd have took me in high school, dude, and said, look, you're never going to be a professional athlete. Enjoy this while you can, but let's find out what you're good at. Yep. Like, do you like playing a guitar? Do you like writing music? Do you want to be a movie director? Yeah. Like, what are you passionate about? And this teacher and me are trying to come up with something to present to like our schools around, like an after school thing or whatever, to where kids that don't know where they fit in learn like to fit in. Because I think looking back at
awesome.
I think looking back at it, dude, and this is so fucked up, the goth kids had it figured out before us. As weird as it is, because they were fine with being themselves, loving what they loved, even if it was some fucked up shit. To where I was buying fucking Hollister trying to fit my fat ass into a goddamn extra large that didn't fit. Like, even back then, I don't know who the fuck was wearing extra large Hollister, but fuck them, because they were not my size. But like, I wish I would have known it was all right not to fit in. And I try to preach this to kids all the time. When you get called weird, you know what almost has the same definition of weird is unique. Yeah. Like, we were just fucking unique. We were wired different, and we didn't know it. And I've abused the shit out of my body for no reason when I could have been learning something that I loved.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I love that idea. I think every school should have that because it's so true. Like, same, dude. I was sports all the way through, all the way up until college. And then when I got hurt, it was like, what do I do? Yeah. Because I never knew anything. I was good at anything else or never tried to find something that I loved.
I think you found it.
I think I found it. Yeah, I found it. I don't know if I'm good at it, but I do love it.
Pretty fucking good at it, dude. You are pretty fucking good at it. I was trying to think of the song earlier, and it kept fucking slipping my mind, but it just hit me. I identify certain artists or certain songs with breakups because I'm a psychopath.
Yeah.
That song that you did, it's probably 4 or 5 years old. Betty Knows.
Yeah, dude.
That is one of my favorite fucking songs.
Thank you.
I love that song.
I do too.
Yeah, I've been like stalking you for a while now. I don't think about it. Like, it's cool to me though because the more people that I have on the show that talk about stuff like getting hurt, wanting to do more or whatever, I think that's kind of the thing that I want more parents to push to their kids.
Yeah.
Is like I got a whole ass friend that was my best friend all growing up, and his daughter wants to sing, and like they're getting her lessons, and she's good, and all this kind of stuff, and she's around my daughter's age, and if we'd have went to our parents back then and been like, "Hey, I want to sing," my dad would been like, "Shut up, fag."
Yeah, exactly.
My dad would have been like, "No, what the fuck are you talking about singing?"
Or it would have been like, well, we got a choir at church on Sundays.
Yeah.
Just go sing with the choir.
Yeah, my dad was too drunk on Sunday mornings to worry about that.
You ain't singing. Get outside.
Yeah, man. No, it's just I wish more people knew. We got a company that comes up here with us a lot, Cotton Field, over in Alabama. They're a sponsor on the show and all this. And when they started seeing what Writers Rounds was and actually like getting to meet people like you, they only book stuff like that now over there.
Really?
Yeah, like they love it, and they love the idea of the thing behind, like the art behind it, how it was made, and everything. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, of course, I'm gonna listen to the big guys, and I still think y'all are big guys. I don't mean that no disrespect, but like what mainstream radio, even though I hate a lot of it, I'm gonna listen to the good shit that's on there
For sure.
But the B-sides are always the best, and I will fight and claw tooth and nail over fucking anybody if they tell me that the single, for the most part, Dirt Cheap single right now, get number one. Yeah, get it number one. That's the best one on that album by far.
Man, that record is really good.
Oh
though.
my God, is it Painter?
Make Me a Mop, dude.
Oh, dude, I cried. I cried on that one.
Like,
okay, so I am a whole basket case.
Yeah.
Like I deal with my mental health stuff or whatever. I remember when that album came out, we stay up here. I record from Sundays to Friday mornings, and I usually head home really early Friday morning. Mm-hmm. So I get to hear all the new drops leaving from Thursday night going back to Georgia.
Yeah.
I remember putting that album on, and every fucking one.
Yeah.
Every one. I had one that I was just like, I don't really get this one, and it grew on me, and that's the one with him and Jelly Roll, and I really like Jelly Roll. I love him as a person. It took me a little bit to come around to what he's doing now.
Yeah.
But I don't know him at all, but I love his story. I love how he talks about his faith. He seems like some dude that I would love to have a beer with and hear more about him, right? Yeah. But every song on there, and it wasn't even that one was bad.
Yeah.
It's just going from Kojo to Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
It's just an extreme.
It's a gap for sure.
Yeah.
But it was really cool.
I love how they did it. It just took me a second to get used to it, but I really did. But every song on that album is just shit. I mean, it is
great.
so fucking good.
Was it Jesus Loves You?
Yes.
Yeah,
the
the
one who's
Chase
talking
McGill-
about the gun in the truck.
You know, it's a true story.
No shit.
Yeah, so Chase McGill wrote it. I was writing with him, I want to say it was like a week after this happened. And so this guy broke into his house while he's at home, and he's got his gun, but the way he tells it to me is he was like, Josh, my kids were asleep. My only thought was like if I defended myself against this guy, my kids would have to live with that for the rest of their lives. And so he said, I couldn't do it, but I held him at gunpoint till the cops got there. And that's what inspired the whole freaking song, dude. God. Just nuts, man. But yeah, the record in itself, Make Me a Mop is one of my favorite songs on that record. Jesse Alexander, one of my favorite co-writers, she wrote it, or was one of the writers on it. And I told her this the other day. I said, when that record came out, I was hoping Dirt Cheap was going to be the single. And then I heard Make Me a Mop. And I remember walking in the back door of our house and going, babe, I don't know if we got single or not, because Make Me a Mop is unreal.
One thing I really appreciate about, like you even saying that, is I'm big on those gospel type cuts at the end of albums. Yeah. Like I learned my faith in a very messed up way. I'm a Christian. I'm not a very good Christian. Yeah. I like to say I'm battle scarred, not broken. I've earned all the dents and dings in this armor, you know what I'm saying? Me and the good Lord is all right, even if nobody else believes it, but we're good. And I learned my faith from hearing my dad shit-faced in a shop at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and he was listening to Hank Sr. Lost Highway.
Yeah, dude.
And some Elvis. I'm not even like a big Elvis guy.
Yeah.
Like him listening to the gospel cuts from Elvis and everybody else. So anytime somebody puts out something like that, I always feel like it's a way to get to the center without having to go to church.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like my favorite thing.
Yeah. Man, music's it's got an interesting outlet to the soul for sure. It's a direct path, I think. And I would say that my growing up and my journey to Christ is probably really similar with music and finding a lot of that in music. Yeah, just those old, dude, Three Wooden Crosses.
Oh, dude.
Like those old songs, man, and freaking, I remember my dad was a big, he was a big like oldies rock and roll guy.
Yeah.
And my mom was super Southern gospel. So you get in mom's car, it was like the Gaithers, and you get in my dad's car, and it was, Zeppelin to whatever the oldies was. And so my first real like introduction to, I guess, not radio country was Dirt Road Anthem.
Yeah.
And it was the Aldine version.
Yeah.
And so I had grown up on rock and hip hop and Southern gospel and a little bit of country, which was radio country. And I'm like, holy crap, dude, this dude he's blending hip hop and country. And so it just made me fall in love with it. But what it did though was I went and downloaded the whole record and I heard songs like Flyover States and songs like Back in This Cigarette and, Best of Me, all those B-sides that you were talking about.
What's the one he's got? Is it Black Roses?
Oh, Black Tears.
Black Tears.
Come on.
Son.
Yeah, that's Flores Georgia Line wrote that.
No shit.
Yeah.
I got to quit knocking them. I really do. Well, they even got, talking about the B cuts, they've got one that every time it comes on in my truck and I'm riding dirt roads with my old lady or just, it's weird because it's me and my buddies in there.
Yeah.
They got that one that, does it talk you out of it?
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Dude. They've got some bangers now.
Dude, Dirt. I mean, there's some amazing songs.
You said his name earlier, and I get in arguments about this guy all the fucking time. Everybody, because I am such a traditionalist country, they do not understand why I like this guy so much. I think Sam Hunt, with different, like, it produced a different way. Mm-hmm. His lyrics are the shit to me. They're so good.
Yeah, he's not doing anything. Imagine if you took his kind of hip hop cadence is the same as Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah,
he's not doing anything that's super not country.
Yeah,
it's the only thing that's different is the production. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing.
What's the one he had at the end of that fucking album? The Drinking Too Much.
Oh yeah,
so fucking good.
So good. Yeah.
And that one is a year. I can't remember. Is it 1997? Or 2016?
2016. Yeah.
Yeah. I get, because I'm getting a tattoo sleeve done right now. It's all my favorite country songs or an artist of all time. So my number one's Keith Whitley.
Yeah.
So I got my Kentucky Bluebird with a jerry curl and a jacket. Then I got No Show right here.
Come on.
Paycheck is next. I'm getting a stained glass window with an old violin in it.
That'll be sick.
Well, my favorite Paycheck song is Outlaw's Prayer.
Okay.
And his son is taking me to the Grand Ole Opry with him Thursday because they're doing like this tribute to Johnny.
Yeah.
And like I'm gonna cry like a bitch.
Oh yeah.
Oh fucking time. But that's all I push. Like I push like that because I got into a huge argument on this show about a month or two ago. What was the first month you came up here with us?
A couple months ago.
Like April? Or was that last month? March?
Yeah, I think it's a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of girls that was in the room recording the show with us and everything. And I was explaining to them how I think Broadway is killing the heart and soul of here. And it's not, I don't mean it in a bad way because now like, even with Chiefs, I see they got the Reeves brothers. I'm a big Reeves brothers fan. Yeah. They play country music. But the way that some people come to town and they think that's, I mean, no disrespect to any of the artists, that's the best music getting played around here, that's country music, right? Yeah. And I was explaining to them, I was like, no, you have to have people like me that don't care about the backlash from it. It's like, you want to hear the best fucking music in Nashville? Go to Listen Room.
Yeah.
Go to Live Oak. Yeah. Go to, even though I'm banned from there, You fucking assholes, losers. Go to Losers. See, I'm still promoting y'all because y'all one of my favorite places.
Can we ask what got you banned?
During the CMAs last year,
Yeah.
somebody invited us to the private party
Okay.
over there. There was a mix-up on tabs, and I paid Post Malone's tab. It was a complete accident. Losers did not mean to do it. They sent me my money back the next day. But because I work in social media, I made a video about it, and it was me and the general manager laughing about it. Like, it was him saying, yeah, dude, Post Malone and them just didn't put a card on file. You have, it said Raising Grace Studios right there underneath their last order or whatever it was. It was very innocent. A complete mistake that 99.9% bartenders would have made here. And I was like, you know what? And what I do, if I can make Losers look good and I can tag Post Malone in this shit, and they got a couple million views like real quick on everything. Next thing I know, a week or two goes by or a month or two goes by before I go back in there because I'm out of town.
Yeah.
I go in there and they tell me I'm banned. Can't come back. It made them look so good. The general manager there could not have been nicer about handling the situation. It was shitty. It was also, though, I think it might have just been wrong timing. We were with Bobby when Toby Keith passed away.
Gotcha.
The night. And it was, I think a lot of people were emotional. And, like, you know how some people get. Like, and I'm not saying that this was the case at all, but sometimes we look for somebody to take that anger out on when we're hurting.
For sure.
And, you know, if you can, you know, throw a little jab right there, I think that might would have been. I'm not mad. They've saved me a lot of money because my bar tabs in there were fucking ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
But I earned them, motherfuckers.
Daggone right.
Like, but like, I want people to know, hey, dude, there's some great artists going on around here that just don't.
Yeah.
I just believe some people are waiting on the break. Like, some people really, I don't think it's gonna take them but one time.
Yeah.
And I don't think songs like some of the ones you've wrote, it don't take but one time hearing to know, oh, that's way better than hearing Dixieland Delight for the fucking 500th time. And by the way, I'm going to say it again. If you think, I can't remember the name of the damn song. Friends in Low Places is Garth Brooks' best song. You're a piece of shit. I have grown to hate Friends in Low Places.
Yeah.
I love all this like Cowboys and Angels and stuff like that from him.
Yeah.
It's just, I love all of it so fucking much. But the bad thing about most everybody that's not like us that listens to country radio, they don't know what's good unless they're being force-fed it because they don't take the time to dive into an artist.
That's what I was going to say. I think I don't think the average listener knows the difference because they don't take the time to exactly what you said, dive in and actually research. And like, they haven't heard "See You When I See You" by Jason Aldean, or like, you know, "I'm Moving On" by Rascal Flatts, or like,
God,
"We're Going Deep." But you know what I mean? Like, they haven't heard those songs, or they haven't heard, you know, "Make Me a Mop" yet, which they should. Everybody in the world should hear it. If you haven't, it's incredible.
No shit, it might save this fucking world, to be honest with you.
But yeah, I think I wish there was a station, and there may be. I wish there was an aspect of country radio that would only play album cuts.
Yeah.
Like the songs that didn't get singled. I would
That's
listen
a great
to that.
idea.
I would listen to that constantly.
Oh my God, that is a
Like
wonderful idea.
no singles at all. You know?
Dude, that's fucking genius.
I think it'd be awesome.
Well, it's like I said, people just don't know what's good. And I can't sit here and say that until the past 6 or 7 years, I knew what was good. I knew what I was told was good.
Yeah.
Like there's been songs that, you know, I've just been all for. And then like, I remember my daddy, like for some reason it'll always stick out in my mind that with Bob Seger, we were going on a road trip one time and I probably wanted to listen to Night Moves or something like that. And he's like, no, you have to listen to all of them and you'll figure out what is good. I'm just now, it seems like almost every time I'm up here, dude, I discover a song that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, because somebody like you and me were sitting around bullshitting, talking, and we talked about another song. There's no way you're going to know every great song.
Yeah.
I like with even David Allan Coe, he has some songs from back in the 70s that when he got out of that whatever fucking mood he was in for a little while. And he started writing some shit. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be my show if I didn't fuck it up. Dude, I'm telling you, it never fails. It is always something. We had Brian Martin. Me and him really close, and he just got sober, by the way. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's probably like 90 days sober now.
Good for him.
Yeah, dude. Our first trip up here this year, with him was very rough, and it made me very happy to see him get sober and everything. But while he was telling his story on here, middle of it, fucking computer messed up. And I had to get him to tell it again. So if it wasn't hard enough the first fucking time,
He's got to tell us why.
I'll tell it twice.
That's amazing.
But no, you were telling me a song a while ago. You didn't tell me the name of the
Oh
Craig
yeah,
Campbell.
dude, it's just a deep cut that like nobody. I don't know why it wasn't massive, but it's called "God in the Ground She Walked On."
Yeah.
Craig Campbell cut it. I think he wrote it too, but dude, it's just so good.
Craig's good, isn't he?
It's the perspective of like this guy. He's at church and he sees this old man every Sunday, and he knows where he lives at. Blah blah. But basically the old man's wife passed away, and she was always in the garden. And you see the old man out there every time you ride by his house.
Oh
and
shit.
He's tilling the garden. He's growing the garden.
Adding the playlist right
And
now.
every Sunday he's reading her Bible. And it's
Oh,
like
see,
that
that's
old
what would
man
kill me.
still worships God in the ground she walked on. It's so good, dude.
God damn.
It's unreal.
Yeah, I'm glad you're sober because I feel like me and you,
Yeah.
I think that we'd cry and break stuff.
Yeah. I'd spear you jumping in the back of a truck. Or
Jesus
something.
Christ. Can I tell that story?
Yeah. Dude.
Okay, let's make sure. I
don't
okay.
care.
So when he first got here, y'all have met Lee Tucker. He's been on the show. That fat piece of shit. I love him to death. I wouldn't know anybody up here if it was not for him. So I always be grateful for my big brother. But yeah, you used to live. Your cousin used to live back there behind Live Oak where Lee did.
Yep.
And I met you really fucked up one night, and somehow we were all getting into this tiny ass hatchback of a SUV, and I guess because I'm the youngest or whatever of that group, I got put in the very back in the hatch, and they're like, "Oh no, open it, Josh is coming." And you come running up Demumbrian out of Live Oak and jump in. Dude, I thought you was a goddamn NFL linebacker. I remember getting the wind knocked out of me and be like, dude, you got to fucking play it cool here. You can't let these people know you're a bitch.
Dude, it's so funny because I didn't remember that until you told me the story. And then I'm like, oh, I vividly remember jumping in the back of a car and spearing somebody on accident. It was you.
It was me. Nobody has a good story the first time they met me. I swear to God, if I ever get to be friends with Ashley McBride, if I ever get to be friends with her, because I love her music. First time I met her,
Yeah.
Vaden and everybody else, she was playing around at Live Oak. This is several years ago. And I didn't know there's an annoying level of drunk that comes out of me.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
I thought that everybody liked being around my fat ass.
Yeah.
But I'm just joyful.
Yeah.
I talked to Ashley McBride for 20 fucking minutes. I cannot tell you what I talked to her about. I told her why I got fired from country radio. I told her all this kind of shit and everything, and I don't ever remember her saying a word, but just nodding her head in fear that I was a psycho. So like, if I ever run into her, I'm like, hey, you remember that guy that just talked your ear off about? I told him your life story, and how much you meant to them. Like, nobody has a good first time
That's
meeting me.
incredible.
Dude, everything's always bad. God bless Toby Keith. I got one of my heroes is Jamie Johnson.
Yeah.
And I meet Jamie Johnson. Bobby Pinson is getting out of a taxi or whatever. And it's Randy Hauser, Jamie Johnson, and Bobby. And Bobby does the coolest fucking thing ever to me. He's like, he introduces me to them, but he's like, hey, this is Josh Terry. He's got a podcast. He's real. He's like the real deal or whatever. And to me, I used to, like, this is how bad I fangirled over Jamie for like the next hour. Yeah. I have a tattoo that's covered up now, but it's from his Black and White album, the dove and the snake and whatever.
Yeah.
Right here. You know what it was like for me to sit here and be like, hey, I wanted to the whole time.
Yeah.
And like, even though I didn't do that to him, I feel like he knows I was going to. Like, that's how fucking hammered I was. But it was literally, I didn't know what to say because I didn't feel like there's a lot of times I'm in a room I do not feel like I belong there. Like, because it's people I idolize.
Yeah.
And I just think to myself sometimes, it's like, you're going to make a goddamn fool out of yourself again. Why are you doing this? But it was the day that Toby died, or the day after, they did like a memorial thing, and we all met them afterwards. And it's just like, I wish somebody could just be like, you know what, the first time I met Josh Terry, that was a cool dude.
I'm sure a lot of people say
I
that.
doubt it.
The first time I met you, we were both drunk, and I
We
thought
didn't
were
fight.
cool.
I feel like
we didn't fight.
We didn't fight.
Yeah, or get in a fight with other people.
I feel like me, yeah.
I don't think
I would just get behind you. Yeah, you look like you could move a bar, dude. I'd be like the dude that's just like, yeah, knock him the fuck out, me get a punch in. I'm too old for that shit now.
Dude, you ain't kidding.
Nah, dude, you're one of the dudes though. Like I don't know if it's like this for you back home, but a lot of my friends have a hard time believing that you're a normal dude. Like the artists up here are normal people.
Yeah.
There's no difference between you and me, except you're way more talented. But I'm talented. I'm talented in a different way. Like I'm not putting myself down or anything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like I got my lane, you got your lane.
For sure.
And nobody up now. You get a prick every now and then that just thinks their shit don't stink, and they usually don't have many friends or nobody wants to fucking be around them. Yeah. But like people just don't realize you guys are. If they were to sit down and even though you don't drink no more, if they sit down and just eat Mexican food with you, that's how relatable you are. Like you're so much like me.
Yeah, dude. I think it's because we are. I mean, we come from the same background. I would assume. I mean, just from talking to you now, I think we were raised probably really similar.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, dude, we're just people that I think again, you're talented, just as talented, but in a different aspect. The guys that do what I do, we just moved here and decided that making words rhyme was what we were going to be good at.
So fucking cool. I'd tell everybody all the time, I'd give up a nut to be able to. The good Lord knew what he was doing, though. It did not give me any musical talent where I could sing or play guitar. 'Cause I'm telling you, man, I'd be the next Johnny Manziel. I'd fuck that shit up so quick. There's this. It wouldn't have worked for me. No. I got a lot of respect for people like you that got sober. You got a family. You got all this because I would fail. I'd fail every single day. Yeah. I haven't been put in a situation, and probably won't because I can't sing or play. But there's just something about it. I got a lot of respect for people like you that seem like you just do it the right way.
I try, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I definitely try. I mean, keep in mind, I got sober because I was failing. You know what I mean? Not necessarily at music, but just I was being an idiot, so I had to get sober. Yeah.
What was the deciding factor with that, if you don't mind me asking?
Man, there was a lot of things. Dude, I was just like, I wasn't happy. We talked earlier. Yeah. I don't think I realized I wasn't happy at that point, and I wouldn't call it depressed. I just wasn't happy with me. I didn't like who I was.
Felt like you were failing yourself?
Yeah, I just didn't feel like I was being who I needed to be.
Yeah.
And it was just like so my alcohol abuse started there. It started with not being happy. That was the root of it. And I just got to the point to where I was with Jordan. We were married. We weren't married yet. We were dating. And we had just had Hunter, our oldest little girl. And, man, I was just getting to the point to where I was literally going through a half gallon of Tito's a day. And I was drinking Jaeger with that, too.
Jesus.
And so my day was I would wake up at about...
I just threw up, by the way.
My day, I would wake up at about 4:30 when my body had kind of processed all the alcohol. I would get up, couldn't go back to sleep. Anxiousness from, I guess, your body running out of alcohol. I would go in the kitchen. And I would make me a screwdriver in a Solo cup. And if you ever drank with me back in the day, our screwdrivers were not one shot. It was like 3/4 of a Solo cup of vodka and a little bit of orange juice. I would down that. I would go back to sleep. And then I would wake up around 8. And I would make one for on the way to town. And then I would go to town to my rights. And then, I would just continue this throughout the day. So by the time I got home, laid in bed, when I passed out is when I fell asleep, and I just repeated the process. And it was just taking a toll on my relationship with my wife now. The things that I was doing, characteristics-wise, how I was treating her. Not that I was abusive or anything like that, but just like I wasn't being a good boyfriend. And then I started thinking about, well, what if something happened to Hunter, our little girl? I couldn't take her to the hospital at night, you know, because I've been drinking. And so there was a day I was coming back from West Tennessee on a hunting trip, and I hadn't drank that whole morning. It was like 2 p.m., dude, which is sad to say. But I was just losing my mind. I stopped in the liquor store, and I grabbed a little pint of Jaeger and some Red Bulls, and I downed it on the way home. And at that moment, I'm just like, wait a second, what am I doing? Like, I have to drink this to feel normal.
Yeah.
And I just I was like, God, I don't know what I'm supposed to do or how I'm supposed to be living, but I know this ain't the way I'm supposed to be living.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I'm done, I'm out. And so the next day we were going back home to my parents' house in North Carolina, and Brantley, who's been like a great mentor to me, and just, you know, Brantley's been sober for almost 10 years now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I had kind of hinted with him about like how to get sober. Do you go to rehab, or, you know, what do you do? And he was like, man, he was like, you need to go to the most humiliating place that you can withdraw at. So for me, that was at home at my parents' house, because neither one of them drank. And I had to look at my mom and look at my dad and tell them I was an alcoholic and I had to get sober. And so we go back home, and I laid on my mom's couch or my mom and my dad's couch for a freaking week, and went through the whole thing. And yeah, it was just, I guess, long story to get to what the point of, I think it was just the point that was breaking point for me was just realizing that wasn't who I wanted to be. You know? And alcohol made me somebody that I didn't like.
Well, I've talked about this a lot recently. Like, there's so much shit that is normalized to us, and we don't realize that it gets normalized. Like, I didn't have the best home life as a child.
For sure.
And there were things that, like, even though, you know, I talked about earlier how, like, I started finding faith was my dad listening to that shit in the shop at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. I thought that was normal life until I figured out what normal life was. Yeah. And there's just things that are just beat into us, not physically, maybe some things, but there are just some things that all of a sudden you're like, wait, your family don't live that way?
Yeah.
It was a turning point for me, probably, which I still drink. I've never been the person. I'm probably what you call like a binge drinker. Yeah. So like when I'm here in Nashville for that 1 week out of every month, I'll drink. Yeah. When I'm home, I hardly ever drink. Yeah. Like if we've got a show, I don't drink when I eat or nothing. I've never been that guy. If I got a concert or something that I'm hosting or whatever, I'll drink then. I'll have a good time. But I stopped looking for reasons to drink. Mm-hmm. But at the beginning of last year, I had Georgette Jones on the show. Mm-hmm. And she told me something that I had never fucking thought of before. I idolize her daddy. I mean, no shows. His country music to me,
one of the greatest.
And she said, the things that you idolize my dad for are the things that everybody else idolizes him for. But it's the things that ruined my childhood. Yeah. And I was like, motherfucker, mm-hmm. Like, I've never thought about it from my daughter's point of view before. Yeah. And I was like, okay, look, because I used to think, dude, that every time I did a show, or whether it was a podcast or it was something in public or whatever, I thought that people wanted the party side of me because it was the fun side of me. Mm-hmm. And I thought that's why people were coming. Yep. And truth is, like, if they're having fun and they're entertained, that's all that matters to them. They don't really give a fuck what you're doing. I was setting expectations for me to fail. Yeah. And I backed off on it. And now, like I said, like, if you would have been up here beginning of last year before that conversation with her, I probably would have already had not a buzz, but I'd have had like 3 or 4 beers in, or whatever, and be like, hey man, let's do this and let's go bar hopping right afterwards. Yeah. And now it's like, I'm gonna go out tonight, but I'm gonna go out tonight. Yeah. I'm not going to, and I'm gonna find a round or something to go to or somebody to listen to and enjoy myself. And then when that's over and done with, come back home, not looking for a reason to watch the sunrise come up no more. Yeah. And
well, you got it under control. Like, you get it.
Yeah,
I envy that, by the way.
Yeah, well, dude, I had to watch addicts growing up. Like my dad, I love him to death, and he's had a scare the past 2 months with his health, and it's been where like I don't want to be that. Like, and it reinforces it more in me. That like, hey, look, there's a reason why on applications or on other shit or where they ask you what kind of drinker you are. Are you a social drinker or is it every day or whatever it is?
Yeah.
You just don't realize how normalized certain shit gets to you.
Especially here, I think too, like in any other part of the world outside Vegas or LA, like you don't drink at 9 or 10 a.m.
No.
It's not normal.
No.
In Nashville though, it's like, yeah, dude, we'll go get a screwdriver with breakfast at the Virgin and everybody it's normal. And I think it's just that's also part of it. I think a lot of the city is an alcohol problem.
Oh yeah. See, mine's not an alcohol problem. Mine's a good time problem.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to a good time.
Yeah, same.
Like, but I've found out more like in the past year is you can have a good time doing a lot of shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, why do you got to go spend $300 a day on a bar tab? Like, there's a lot of shit I could have bought with some fucking bar tabs from up here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like that tab didn't mean anything.
No.
Like, those drinks aren't memories. I mean, the memories were the people that were there, the good time that was had. You could probably, in most situations, take the alcohol out of the equation and still have the good time.
100%. I would go as far as to say I think I have more fun at 32 now not drinking than I did at 27 drinking all the time.
I admire you because there's no way I could have been here in my 20s. I'm glad that I didn't start coming up here till I was 30. Yeah. I would have died. I would have done that shit. I don't deal with heartbreak well, and I don't deal with being able to go to a bar and there being good looking women at fucking 12 o'clock in the afternoon to all the way to 3 o'clock at night. Like, but I know my vices, and that's something that I try to teach people or talk to people about with their mental health or just their vices is, look, if you know you're the problem, that's the best thing in the world because you can fix you. You can't fix nobody else.
Yep.
You can work on you. You can know, like, I've learned to say no to people, and I used to wouldn't. Now it's just like, you know, if somebody were to be like, hey, you want to go get tequila shots right now on Broadway? I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to. What's that proof?
Yeah.
I mean, it might be a good time for a little while, but then I'm gonna be like, you know what I could have done? I could have just been patient. Could have sat back. I could have done something for work. Could have gone and watched a really good round tonight and heard my next favorite song. But no, I had to be fucking blacked out drunk before the sun went down and fuck it all up for me.
Yeah. Spot on, dude.
Dude, it's cool that you learned that so young, though. Let me ask you. You said how long have you been sober? 3 years?
3 years.
When did you write Dirt Cheap?
I wrote Dirt Cheap March. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. I know it's 2022, I think.
If it's March the 25th, I'm going to throw something at you. It's God if it is.
March 2nd, 2022.
Shit. God, you still there. I just played. I know you there. I'm all about little victories, right? So, like, the thing that I've learned to live by is if you're so hell-bent on your destination, and that's all you just want, when you get there, it's got to be disappointing because then you got to start over.
Yeah.
So it's like, appreciate the journey, right? And I'm all about him tossing like little victories and shit out to us and just reminding us, hey, you're on the right path. You're not where you want to be, but you're where you're supposed to be. And it's just kind of cool to me that you've been doing this for so long and you didn't write that song until after you got sober.
Yeah.
Because you probably have thought about ideas like that before, but like being sober, I just think it's God's timing with stuff like that.
Yeah, dude, I would even go as far as to say I think I got way more songs cut after I got sober.
Yeah.
That was when I started seeing, and I hate to say success, but that was when I started seeing more stuff happening.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call that. But yeah, I think it's a mix of getting sober, taking care of, you know, me and my family and my body and my mental stuff like me and you talked about. And also just daily attempting to get right or better with God.
Yeah.
You know, and further that relationship too.
Yeah, that one's the one that always gets me when people don't realize that. Like, with my mental health and stuff, I've had to, like, because I've just been so against taking medication.
Sure.
Like, I don't want to do it. And so I've had to figure out ways to combat that. Yeah. So, like, there's little things I like doing. Like I tell you, just now getting where I like writing songs and poetry more now than I ever have. But it's where I know that when something bad happens to me now, I know that it's God teaching me a lesson. Instead of me feeling like I failed,
Yeah.
I feel like he's teaching me a lesson.
For sure.
And when you stop viewing shit as a failure, and it's like, oh, that's a stepping stone.
Yeah.
You ever heard? This is funny. This is deep cut on me. Between 18 and 21, I was a piece of shit, like very bad. I have done 2 different stints in like a detention center, one 30 days, one 60 days, or whatever. Cool. There's a story that'll stick with me to the day I die. It's called The Donkey in the Well. And this donkey's running around this field. It falls in this well. And it's at the bottom of the well, and it's sitting there and it's treading water. And the donkey's like, fuck, I could drown. I'm sure they didn't say fuck in this parable, by the way. Y'all just going to have to deal with it. But the donkey's on at the bottom of the well. And the donkey's looking up. It can see the light, but it knows looking up like, I could just let everything go, drown, and be done with it. Or I've got to start clawing, and I've got to start just going ham on this wall to get to the top. So the damn donkey just starts clawing at the wall, just choosing not to die. Yeah. He doesn't know if he's going to get to the top because he's going to literally have to tear it down brick by brick. Yeah. And that's going to be his platform. And I've always viewed that as everything that we feel like is keeping us from the top is probably what is getting us to the top. Yeah. It's what's going to make us better. Amen. Like, so all those little bricks and shit, dude, that we think are our trauma, our vices, our shit that's keeping us down, if we find a way to turn those demons, instead of those demons, us working for our demons, them demons working for us.
Yep.
Yeah. When we figure that shit out, them bricks start being our platform instead of the struggle. Yeah. And that's where I'm at with anybody like you talking about sobriety and any of the other stuff. It's, man, I think that's, God lets us go through hell so we know what heaven's worth.
Oh, 100%.
And I think that some of us have to learn that way. But it makes us the person that we're supposed to be. I love the idea, and it's probably because I'm a psychopath. Everybody's always asking, or everybody's always just wondering, like, what is my purpose in life? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? Like, I think you are your purpose. I think everything that you've ever done has led to the person that you are. And that's what you're supposed to be putting out into the world every single day. You writing Dirt Cheap, you writing all the rest of the great songs that you've wrote and the stuff that's to come. And you never know what that's gonna, how that's gonna help somebody or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, dude, I think the purpose, you're nailing the head with it. I think the purpose every day is, well, for me, it's A, how can I show people God through me somehow? And B, what can I do to change someone's life in some way, shape, or form? And I realize that daily, I think sometimes I lose track of that, where I go like, I got to control everything that's going on today. I get frustrated. I get down. We all have down days.
Absolutely.
And those are those days, though, where I go, okay, I'm not in control. God, you got it. I got to just do what you need me to do. Yeah. And that's our purpose, man.
I think that's when the magic happens over folks like you.
Yeah, dude.
I know. Yeah. So people that can see the beauty in all the fucking pain and trauma, it's just the best. Yeah. What before we get out of here, what's like some stuff that you got coming out or your social media and stuff that, is there anything you want people looking out for?
Man, Luke Combs has cut a song that I'm sure you've heard on TikTok and stuff. It's called
Which one?
The Man He Sees in Me.
Oh, fuck you.
The Me and Him.
Oh, fuck you. It's saved. Oh, you kiss my fat ass. Of course you're behind that one.
That's coming out Father's Day, so we're super pumped about.
My daughter sent me that, you son of a
really?
bitch. I'm a crybaby. I am a tender-hearted fucking crybaby. Yeah. I cry at Hallmark commercials. Shit, dude. I'm telling you, I'm sentimental. She sent that to me. Yeah. And she sent the one that he also previewed. Maybe you're connected with it, maybe you're not. I don't know. The one talking about the baseball game. I'm not. I didn't write that. You know what I'm talking about, though? The one where he's taking the little boy out to the ballpark.
What is it called?
Take
Me Out to the Ball Game.
Yeah.
It's correct.
Oh my God! Yeah, but the one that you're, fuck you.
Thank you.
It's just so good.
Thank you, man. That was literally. So obviously, Dirt Cheap is about Hunter, our oldest little girl. And then Zach, our little boy, is 2. And so the Man He Sees in Me started as a thing that I was writing about Zach.
Yeah.
And so I'd only written about half of it. And I sent it to Luke. And obviously he's got 2 boys. And so we finished it. And so now we've got a third daughter, or a third child, second daughter, Presley. And my wife's like, hey, you need to go ahead and write a song about her too while you're at it, because people keep cutting them. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that's coming out. And then, I've been kind of teeter-tottering on the edge of, I haven't put out a record in a while. I got out of my record deal in 2019, I think, to just pursue songwriting full time.
I really always liked your stuff, though, dude. I like your voice.
Well, I've been teeter-tottering on putting out an EP of just 100%ers, just songs that I wrote by myself.
Hell yeah.
So it'll probably be, we've got 6 songs for it. I'll send you some.
Oh, yeah. I was already going to tell you,
yeah, I'll
like,
send
dude,
it to
I'm good at keeping that shit on lockdown.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that I want to hear, like, in all fairness. Like, there's something about when somebody like you, I hear your version of the song.
I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah. When I hear your version, it doesn't take away from what somebody else has done, but there's always more of an emotional connection for some reason to me and stuff like that. There's always something more. And
sure.
I, like, oh, God.
I will say he crushed that, though. Like, I love my version of Dirt Cheap, don't get me wrong. And I think most of the time, even songwriters feel that a little bit, where we go like, the actual cut version wasn't as good as the demo, whoever sang it. That was one of the first times where I went, this is way better than the demo. But you be the judge of that.
It's hard to beat Kojo, but, dude, I can imagine. But also, too, and, like, I've said it several times before. I don't know anything about him. He's somebody that I look up to because of the way he talks about his faith. Yeah. I'm always, even if I don't like your music, if you are somebody that'll stand in front of thousands and thousands of people and declare your love for God, because I ain't no preacher.
Yeah.
I believe there's warriors in this world, and I believe there's preachers in this world, and you can deliver the same message.
Yep.
It's just some people that's tattooed, and some people like drinking and other shit like that. Maybe a little other stuff. Maybe it's easy for them to listen to me talk about my faith. And I think it's a testament for people like you or me that, you know, we're rough around the edges, but we still love God. And when you see somebody like him get in front of a middle of arena, I remember him and Luke's show in Atlanta last year, the year before at Mercedes-Benz.
Yep.
He had me fucking crying. Like,
He's unreal.
And it's just like, you know, that to me, that's what religion and faith is right there.
Absolutely. Well, dude, you look at the 12 disciples. They were all like us.
Yeah.
They were all, you had fishermen, tax collectors. Like, back then, tax collectors were the worst of the worst. They were worse than us. But if they were living nowadays, they'd probably be tattooed with earrings and have big old beards and ride Harleys. Yeah. And those were his best friends. Like, I think those are the types of people that God uses and Jesus uses, or God, they're the same person, but God uses to further his word in areas that, say, the preacher down the street can't. He's not going to walk into a motorcycle clubhouse and talk to those guys about God.
Yeah, I have always had just a big spot in my heart for people that I've seen in small towns, especially where I'm from, a kid that is sick with cancer or a kid that's got an illness. Mm-hmm. And it just always blows my mind that the local tatted up motorcycle club, whatever, is doing toy ride after toy ride, going out scraping up donations or whatever, to where you got a preacher driving $100,000 Lexus or whatever. We're going to give you $1,000 donation. Mm-hmm. What?
Oh yeah.
I'm big. Like, look, I love the Lord, but I'm hard on organized religion because I just don't think that that's what it's supposed to be. And I think so many of those squeaky clean preachers have ran people off.
Oh yeah.
To where Kojo on doing that kind of shit brings them back.
Yeah. Dude, Jelly Roll, same thing.
Oh, dude, that I did not like Jelly Roll's music at all. Like, I didn't. I didn't know anything about him. I had heard some stuff that he had done with Little White a long time ago that was like Move Mountains or whatever.
Dude.
And it was talking about faith. It was really it's really good.
Yep.
Everything else I heard him put out, I was like, okay, this just isn't for me.
Yeah.
When he started doing what he's doing now, that wasn't impressive to me. It sounded way better. Mm-hmm. But it was the way he told his story, the way he talked about his faith, the way he talked about He knew, like, in a world that we live in today where there's so much fucking evil, day in, day out, there's stuff that whether you believe in it or not, that's being pushed down our throats, that's an agenda. And I really do believe it is to corrupt us and make an immoral country out of us. When you have people like that that's got tattoos on their face, that has just been in jail, he's an inspiration to me.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and it's that guy that can talk to those folks because let's face it, like the guys like me and you, and even most of the people that are listening to Jelly, or a lot of the people that were listening to Jelly back in the day, they're not listening to the preacher at the Baptist church. They don't care what he's got to say. In his white button up with his tie on and all that. They don't care. Even though the messages may be the same and the heart may be the same, they're just not going to listen to that.
I always compare it to me going to therapy.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do, and I know you said you go. I'm not knocking anybody that does.
Yeah.
I can't go listen to somebody that has never been through what I've been through tell me how I'm supposed to feel.
Yeah.
But I can do support systems.
Yeah.
I can do that kind of stuff to where I can look across from a person and I can see and hear them talk about it and know that they've been in the same place and how they got through.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with people like Jelly.
Yeah.
Is like, no, this dude, like, it just makes sense. It just, you want to find the person that actually made it to the other side instead of the person that's still here, that hadn't moved. Like, and I'm not knocking any of those squeaky clean preachers. If you're doing it the right way, by all means.
Absolutely.
It's just your message doesn't mean much to me.
No, yeah, you've always been on the other side.
Yeah.
I want to know the person that's been through the trenches where I've been through.
Doesn't it just like so cool when you hear one of these rough motherfuckers that you know have just done the worst of the worst?
Yeah.
I think it's just such a test. I think it's more of a testimony. I'm not comparing nobody's testimonies. For one of you to come at me and say something, I think that it is something so powerful about somebody who's actually been in hell and found faith and kept it. Compared to somebody who's always lived on the greener side.
Yeah.
It's easy. There's a guy, you ever heard of Red Marlowe?
Uh-uh.
I don't know why I know this dude. I don't know where I heard this song at years ago, but he's got a song and it's called You Don't Always Pray When It Rains. You pray when the sun shines too. And it's great. Like, it's so good.
That's awesome.
And it's no one's ever done anything with it. It's older, but it's so good. But, like, it's real hard for me to sit there and listen to somebody who's never had a bad day.
Yeah, man. I'm with you, dude. Same. It's like, I think that's why I kind of always deterred from the church a little bit.
Yeah.
My mom and dad always went. But it was always, I just kind of tuned out. I didn't care. But, dude, I think that's why I gravitate now towards, like, the stories of Saul. I don't know if you know the story, but Saul's on the road to Damascus. He was killing Christians, hated Christians, dude. And he gets blinded. You know, Jesus comes down and blinds him. He falls off the horse, and he turns his life around, turns his life over to Christ, and he becomes a minister. It's like that dude went through it. He was an awful person, the worst of the worst, which I would say I was.
Me, right here,
you know,
right here,
like,
boss, right
I
here.
was probably the worst of the worst.
Piece of shit over here.
Yeah, dude. I hate who I used to be.
Me too.
But God didn't, and that's what's cool about it.
Fuck
you
yeah,
know,
it
you want
is.
to talk to those people. So, yeah.
Well, dude, I just want to say this before we get out of here. I was a fan before, and I hope people listening to you just on here and opening up a little about some of your stuff, I hope they realize, like, you're somebody they ought to be listening to. And even if you don't ever put out another album or whatever, I want them to be a fan of your music and know that when you write something, it comes from, it's you.
Well, thank you, man.
It's you. Like, I started off by saying, like, I like people to know the why.
Yeah.
Like, your why is fucking great. It is a great story.
Well, thank you, buddy.
I can't wait to hear more stuff from you. And like I said, you've already got a couple great songs, but you can just tell, dude. Like, it's just cool for me. Like I said, I remember the first time I heard that song, and I'm not trying to simplify this show to that first song.
Yeah.
If I take country music so seriously, and I remember the first time I heard that, I remember putting it into my playlist. I know that sounds stupid to every one of y'all, but if y'all knew how much I love that fucking playlist and how long it has took me to make that playlist, that's the best song I have heard since probably In Color.
Oh, man. Thank you.
And there's just a special place for In Color for me. I love everything about Jamie Johnson, but dude, I don't know you that well, but I'm proud of you. Hope we can kick it some more, maybe some sober, well, obviously sober, some Mexican food without margaritas.
I'll have some non-alcoholic beers. You can drink whatever.
But anyway, dude, drop your socials real fast before we got here so people can go give you
Yeah, it's at I'm Josh Phillips on everything. Pretty much Twitter. Well, I guess it's called X now. Threads,
I don't even have that
Instagram,
shit.
YouTube, all the stuff. It's at I'm Josh Phillips.
Hell yeah, dude. And folks, please don't just go listen to Dirt Cheap. Look and find his name. Look and find all his catalog. Download all of his stuff. I'm telling you, I was a fan before that. I'll continue to be a fan and listener. I can't wait to listen to his demos. You guys, maybe just bring your asses to Nashville more, and y'all get to hear some shit like this. And please, we talked about the B-side a lot. Don't just take what you hear on country radio and think that that is the best. That is what somebody is telling you is the best. There is a lot of amazing artists and songs out there that'll never touch radio. So please dive deep on country music. And thank you guys for listening to the Josh Terry Podcast. We will catch you next time. I want more people to listen and